What's up, guys? Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out the channel today. We got another Victory at Sea unboxing. We're taking a look at the mighty Yamato today. So this is basically the top of the line in battleships for the Imperial Japanese Navy. So we'll be right back after we get this bad boy opened up, and then we'll talk about it. All right, guys, we're back. As usual, we get a little World of Warships invite code there. We get our little damage sliders for the cards, working with Warlord Games resins, kind of all that extra stuff there. So let's start off here. So we get a painting guide, which is nice. Brings in some suggestions for Army Painter and, or actually this one's just all of Alejo. Range here. A little bit of backstory on the ship. So again, just really the two in the class. The third one was converted to an aircraft carrier. Assembly guide. So there's a fair bit of stuff to put in on the Yamato here. We got the three main turrets, the four major secondary turrets, bridge, superstructure, all that fun stuff, and then the aircraft handling area in the back as well. So we get that. Metal bits, of course, for all that, very chunky, especially those main turrets. Those are going to be beefy. Probably worth magnetizing on those if you don't really want all that glued down. Of course, why we're here, the big ship itself. So just massive. This is by far the biggest thing so far, I think, in the game. Not that there would really be anything bigger, but just as far as model size goes and base and all that, this is very, very chunky. So by comparison, if we pull it out here, this is the, just as a side-by-side, oops, let's get it pointing the same way. So, there's the Idaho, so you guys can see, and that's not necessarily a small ship, that's a U.S. battleship there, but you can see just how massive the Yamato is in comparison there. So let's get this guy out of here again. And yeah, so again, this thing is just a beast. So we got Yamato class battleship on that side, a little bit of flash to clean up, specifically the Yamato here. Hopefully at some point we'll get the Musashi. A little bit of bend there, but that's not too bad. On the stats itself, so this bad boy, bare bones or no like upgrades taken, 1,000 points. So obviously not for games really below 1,000, unless you just want to see if you could take it out. Anyway, solid flank speed's not as slow as some of the other battleships out there, but not cruiser speed either, of course. Really good armor, 7-up. 146 hull for this monster. It's got aircraft 7, armored deck, and torpedo belt 3 to start with. Of course, the big boomsticks here, the three 18.1 inch turrets with really solid range there. And really, if they hit and the damage gets through, you're looking at some serious damage that they will put out. They have the heavy trait. Then we have the four different, basically, cruiser-sized gun turrets. So the AA, port and starboard, and then the YY turret, which is the rear-facing one. We get the lighter guns, the 5-inchers, a battery of those, and those are dual-purpose, restricted, and weak. And then to start with, not so much in the AA department there. Would have been cool to also maybe at some point get a model that just shows like the later upgrades where like there's just that massive amount of AA guns all over the place, but right now it's got the sort of the earlier one that had the port and starboard guns, but I think in both versions those were eventually removed. We'll see that in the upgrades here in the back. So some interesting stats there too. 2,500 crew, a little bit about the history there. So 42 version of Musashi, for 5 points we can bump up the AA, certainly would be wise there. 44 Musashi, we add radar, sub hunter, we get rid of the side turrets and bump up local AA to 7 for another 85 points, but well worth it because you're going to be dealing with American planes and carriers for the most part if you're just playing historical matchups. 43 Yamato, kind of the same as the earlier upgrade for Musashi, and then the 44 upgrade also basically adds most of the Musashi upgrades, but for a little bit more as well, because we add, let's see, radar, sub hunter, remove the turrets, but we increase light guns as well, 24 5-inchers. So we get a tac dice 14 out of that, which is pretty bonkers. And then AA of local 8 for 155 more points, which is a heck of a lot, but that's kind of like the almost the zenith there of the Yamato, although one more late upgrade there and just bumping local to 9 for another 5 points. That's about as good as it gets, but obviously that's a big chunk of points, so you're going to be playing some solid game sizes there, and obviously you're going to try your best to hopefully protect the Yamato as much as it can. That being said, if you can hit and punch some damage through, which really shouldn't be a problem with the main guns, you're certainly going to delete pretty much any type of cruiser out there, or at least render it pretty much useless, so you can clean it up with other things. Lighter battleships, certainly, if you can catch them, you're going to put solid damage on. Heaven forbid somebody leaves their carrier vulnerable to you. You're going to pop those. You really shouldn't be going after destroyers with your big guns, of course, unless there really is no other option, or they're getting a little too close for comfort potentially. But you've got plenty of other tools there. But this thing can slug it out with anything out there. It's got the armor, it's got a decent enough speed, the range to put the hurt out where it needs to, and plenty of, between the armor and the hull points, you can soak up quite a bit. So it's definitely going to take some work to down these things. But the things that you were historically vulnerable to, so like just mass airplanes and torps and things like that, that's where if you can start piling up crits and the way those that can spread, that's really going to be the trick there. But you're not going to necessarily like go toe to toe with this as a battleship and hope to survive long. But yeah, the Yamato, really awesome thing. We're looking forward to getting this built up and then adding that to our Japanese fleet, of course. Still waiting on our Japanese fleet box, but we do have some stuff from this the 2-player starter and the demo kit from earlier in the summer. So that will be a decent little start for a Japanese fleet, just kind of basically missing carriers. But we'll see what we can do. Nonetheless, really awesome and amazing ship. So we're going to get all this cleaned up, put together, painted for you guys, and then we'll definitely have some battle reports and other things coming for you soon. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today too, guys. If you could, drop us a like, a comment. Have you tried the Yamato yet or faced it, and what's your experience been? Let us know in the comments. Give us a subscribe too if you haven't already, and then we will see you in the next one.